Assalamu alaikum and good morning again to all of my students and whoever is watching this video right now. I hope and pray that you're all in your good health, enjoying the day, enjoying yourself, helping others and taking care of others and spreading happiness. Okay. So right now we are in our social studies class, and remember, we are learning about landforms. So in our last lecture, in our last class, we learned about landforms, and we learned that landforms are they're not man-made things; they are just the natural features on the face of the earth, which happens naturally, which may uh, naturally, and then they come up on the face of earth, which we see, and we discussed that there are different kinds of landforms which you see if you're traveling on the train or if you're traveling by road, even if you're traveling by air. You can see different kind of landforms. Somewhere there are deserts, somewhere there's greenery, somewhere there are mountains. Yes, you're very high when you're flying, but you can see different landforms. Somewhere it is very dry. If you look up from the window of a plane, that even shows somewhere there are seas, there are waters, somewhere there are even you got to see even rivers from the top when you're flying. And when you're traveling, yes, you get to see rivers, you get to see lands, you get to see trees and mountains and hills and all those things. And if you're traveling from Lahore to Islamabad and then going up, you can see a major change in the difference in the landforms, because here there are plain lands, there are not much hills. There are hills, but not mountains. And then when you go, then you see rocky hills, big hills, and then rocky mountains, huge mountains. So today we are discussing about mountains and hills. What is the difference between them and how do we see them? So we are going to discuss about that. Okay. So you must have seen mountains, and how do you see them? How do they look like? Yeah, they look like huge. And if you're just standing very near to a mountain, you have to look very high up like this to see the mountain. And big mountains you can even see from very far away, because they're so huge and tall that you can even get to see them from very far away even. And then you can even imagine, and you can think that how big and huge they are. So in Pakistan, like, we have almost all kind of landforms. So we are today we are discussing only about two today, as I told you, the mountains and the hills. Okay, so we will have a look at those, and we will then discuss how are they different from each other. Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to show you the hills. Hills are like the small uh, high things. They are a little higher from the ground, but not very high. They're small. They've got like different shapes. They can be a little round, as you see. They can be a little steep, and but they will be small in height. Sorry, they will be less in height and small in the size and the shape. So they can be of different forms, different colors. They can be green, they can be red, they can be brown, only if there is only sand. Somewhere there are of if it's a sandy area, they will be of the sand. So they change the shape. The sand dunes change the shape. They're also like kind of small hills. The hill is small, right? It's easy to climb on the hill, and we will be discussing that how are they different each other. And then if you see there are mountains. Mountains are very high, and on top of the mountains there is there's very cold, and there is snow as well that is covered on the top, right? So see, if you're standing over here, small person, this is very huge for that person, right? So these are very huge, they are rocky, they are very high, and they're like some of the animals, even there are very less animals live on the mountains. So people try to summit the peaks of the mountains. So this looks like a kind of K2, because K2 is very, very high and very difficult. Because if somebody falls from the K2 from here, that has to come down over here, because that's steep like this. And as compared to K2, Mount Everest is very easy to summit, because it's a easy mountain to climb on. But if you talk about K2, K2 is very, very, very difficult to climb on. And it is steep, like it's very steep like this. If God forbid somebody falls, you just come down straight, come down straight. There is no way you can stick somewhere over here, or maybe you stop somewhere. You straight away, you come down. So this is the example of a mountain, which you can see over here. They can even be black. They are of different colors. They can be a little green in different seasons, but mostly they are covered with snow, because they are in the northern areas mostly, and they're very high, and it's very cold on the top of the mountain. So what we are going to do is we are going to just see what are the differences between the mountain and the hills. Okay, now we are just going to have a look at that. So I'm just going to share my screen with you. So I hope you can see this. This is the difference between the hill and the mountain. Okay, let me adjust that for you. Okay, just a little. That's great. Okay, so we're just going to have a look at that. Now, the right picture is of mountain, right? And the left picture is of hill, right? Now, these are the two things which we are discussing. Now, first of all, the mountain. This is the large natural landform that extends above the surrounding, and usually that forms a peak. Now, this is called the peak, right? And this portion, can you see? This is the top portion. This is called a peak, right? The mountain's peak is this, which you can see over here, right? And then if you talk about the hills, these are also a natural landform that extends even above the surrounding, the ground, but not very high, right? That's why there is no peak of the hill, right? So there is no peak of the hill. Okay. Now the mountains are higher than 1968 feet. They should be higher than 1968 feet, and the hills, they are less than 984 feet. So they're not very high. So if you're going to see the hills, they will not be more than 980 feet, 84 feet. They have to less than that. Otherwise, then they will be mountains. They will not be hills. See, hills are not very high. They don't have a peak, and they are less than 984 feet, right? 984 to 196.8 feet, right? Okay. Now the mountain is steeper. Like this. See, this is steeper like this. You have to climb on it like this. Right? This has got very difficult to climb on, reach to the top, to the peak of the mountain, because this is very difficult to climb on. This is steep. If you're climbing a mountain, it's very difficult, because this is very, very steep. Okay, and then in comparison to mountain, if you look at the hill, it's very easy to climb on a hill. You can climb over here, and then from here easily you can climb on one hill, and from one hill you can very easily go to the other hill, because that's easy for you to climb. The hills are easy to climb. Why? Because they're not very steep, and it's easy to climb on the hills, and they are not very high, so you can even climb that, even you can come up on the top of that, right? So that is why the climbing on the mountain is very, very, very challenging. It's very hard. And there are different type of mountains which are even harder. As I told you, that K2 is the harder to climb as compared to the Mount Everest, because it is very, very steep. The K2 is very, very dangerous. It's very steep. It's very difficult to summit K2 and reach on the top as compared to the Mount Everest, right? Mount Everest is kind of like this, and K2 is, you see, kind of like this. This is very, very difficult to climb up on the mountain. And as I was telling you, that comparatively, it's easy to climb up the hill. You can easily like climb from here. There are like ways you can even climb over here on top, and you can climb, and you don't even feel scared of climbing onto the hills, because they were very easy, not very high to climb on. So there is a difference, a couple of differences which we have discussed, that how the mountains and the hills are different. So, and you have seen in them in front of you that yes, there are like certain features which make them different from one another. And we will again put them in front of you to just have a look at them. They look even different in the shape. The both are very different. The mountain and the hills, if you look at them, they'll look differently, right? See, they look differently over here. So hills are different, mountains are different. So the height is different, the shape is different. This is 1968 above high, and this is 948 low or high, and that will make him hill, and the height make him mountain. Mountains are very difficult to climb. You can even see the difference, how easily you can climb on the hill and how difficult it is to climb on the mountain and to reach on the top. And the white part which you can see over here is the peak of the mountain, which is mostly very, 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 very cold. And you have to have your gadgets, your things ready, like your proper dressing and all that, to reach on the top. So very steep and high and rocky and difficult to climb on. And comparatively, this is low, this is easy to climb. This is much easier to reach on the top of the hill as comparing the mountain. So this is the difference between the mountain and the hills, and you're going to even see that. You watch it yourself when you're traveling, observe it, that how are the hills, how do the hills look like, and how do the mountains look like. But and then you have to see that if they are above 948 meters, that will be a mountain, count into the mountain. And if it is less than that, that will be count in hills. So see, mountains and hills are different kind of landforms which are made naturally. This is not man-made features, right? So our Pakistan, a country, Pakistan is full of all these landforms. We have all the different kind of landforms which you can observe, which you can enjoy, which you can see, and see the difference, how they are different from each other. Okay, so this was our social studies class in which we have learned about landforms, and I hope that you have enjoyed that. And please observe it when you're traveling, and when you look at that, and you will, if you live in certain kind of areas, you should look and observe all these different kind of landforms. Okay, so I'm going to say you goodbye, and I hope you have enjoyed this video. So you have to do us a favor, just click the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with your friends. Yeah, that's great. So we'll see each other soon. Till then, stay safe, be happy, and be grateful for whatever you have. I'm going. Bye-bye and Allah Hafiz.